to introduce you a member of the British Empire, MBE. In this show today, 5 steps to overcome domestic violence. And today we have with us the motivational speaker, Marie. So welcome to the show. And can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Marie Hanson. As Harry said, I've got an MBE. I'm a survivor of domestic violence. I went through domestic violence for around 5 years of my life, where even my daughter was sexually abused. That was the hardest thing for me. And also, he literally tried to track my 2-year-old out the window because he lost control. I then decided to slept in my car for 3 days with my children, as there was no place at the refuge for me, and had no choice but to sleep in the car with my children. I ended up going through to refuge, and then finally got a property, my own property. Then I decided to really set up my own organisation, to be quite fair, because I got offered a really fantastic job, but I turned it down because I really wanted to empower other women that are going through domestic violence and just empowering women in general, really. So I've set up my organisation, been running it for 18 years now.
Wow.
It's about empowering, making people see the greatness in them, helping women to become self-sufficient with themselves and just build their confidence, doing various classes. I even got a nursery. I mean, I've got 6 children, and
wow,
praise God for my children. Yeah, and I got 6 children. I remember when I was a single parent and going, obviously had hardship, and I remember if only I could have somewhere to take my children, so I can go and do my shopping or whatever I have to do, or go for an interview. So I decided to set up my nursery. So I've got a nursery as well, so where mums can use my nursery free of charge, get their education.
Wow.
If they need a respite, they can go there and have a respite. If they're going through domestic violence, they can leave their children. If they can't afford to use the nursery, pay for the nursery, then they can use it. So it's non-for-profit nursery. I remember one time I was literally in a supermarket, and I'm not going to tell you the name of the supermarket because it's about advertising. I'm not advertising today. So basically, I was in a supermarket, and I remember my children, running around the supermarket, and someone turned up to me and said to me, "Can't you control your children?" I said, "Well, no, I can't." So that day, I just couldn't control them. So I thought, set up a nursery for mums to just get this respite and to get this help and all the rest of it. So that's what I do really for 18 years, and I'm a former counsellor as well for my ward in Wandsworth. And so I do motivational talking, and it's just about empowering and just letting people know who they are. I mean, one of my things that I really, really love to say is, don't let your situation speak to you. I'm 101% dyslexic. I can't spell dyslexic, but I've got a degree in management. Don't let your situation speak to you. Don't, that's what I say to them. I have to have someone to scribe for me. All my ideas are all in my head, and I praise God for my husband, because he helps me to take it out of my head because I can't write it. But literally,
he's actually here in the broadcast next to us.
And
thank you.
And basically, I've run my organisation, and you can do it. Anyone can do it. Do you know what I mean? But you need to have that motivation, and you've got to love yourself first. You can't love anyone unless you love yourself.
Few questions first, Marie, and I want that we have a conversation and share with all the women out there, right? And thank you so much, every single one of you from watching us from Facebook and YouTube. How do you feel in that moment that I know that for parents, right, the life of your children is your biggest responsibility, right? Mm-hmm. So, and how unfair is that that someone for any reason try to take this away from you? I think that this type of pain or of psychological damage, I think is even worse than the physical damage. Yeah. So what do you think, what was the impact on your life after you experienced this situation? How lies after that moment? What will be today? We have the pleasure to have you here as for the work that you do, even recognized as being member of the British Empire. On top of that, your husband is here next to us, and we can validate that both of you have a very healthy relationship. So, but how you manage to build yourself from that moment until until the Marie that we have here in front of us, actually empowering, actually build up really powerful, really strongly, and encourage other people to don't be afraid.
Well, it took a while. It didn't happen overnight. It took a while to examine myself. I think the worst thing for me is that when I was in that relationship with that person, the worst thing for me, he literally, I mean, my book will come out soon, so you can read it, but he manipulated me, he grounded me down. I got to the stage I couldn't even speak. I had to think before I spoke because he gets angry. And I started to realize.
So everything starts first with psychological.
It was psychological.
So the damage starts before psychological.
It's psychological. It's my experience. I know a lot of people experience other things.
Everyone has different.
But mine, he was very manipulating, and he done it very calculated, and he was you knew what he was doing, you know. But I was literally, people go, well, how do why didn't you get out of it? I couldn't get out of it. I just couldn't move. I was numb. But the only thing that gave me strength is when my daughter told me she was abused by him. And I thought, what? I said, no. I just can't explain how I felt, I can't explain the pain, the anger. I've been abused. So I knew that every single pain that she went through, I knew it. I've been there and I've had it. And that's when I knew I had to go. And I had this incredible strength. Even when he tried to throw my daughter, and that same night he tried to throw my daughter out the window, but he weren't going to do it. Fair enough, he wasn't not going to do it, but he just wanted that control. He'd lost control. Mm-hmm. And the night I just picked up myself and left with my children.
How many children?
6.
Wow.
I had one in my stomach at the time.
Wow.
Which he never knew about. The child was in my stomach, because every time I got pregnant, or when I did get pregnant, he tried to abort my child, and you will see that in my book what he done. I don't even want to describe it because I still think I haven't got over that bit yet. And so I couldn't let him know I was pregnant at all.
So, okay, and then it was a moment that you said this is enough. This is way too much. But then on one side you have the security of the home and your 6 children, and now you need to let that go.
No, it wasn't.
Right?
Do you know what it was? I was in the process of buying my house. It's really crazy, and I know it sounds mad. And I just got my whole house decorated, a new carpet, and all the rest of it. And literally, I was going to leave everything behind. Before my daughter told me, it was hard. It was very, very hard. And then literally when I found out, that was it. So there was nothing. When I left my house, I left there with a bag of underwear, which sounds really crazy, mm-hmm. and food, because I know I've got a lot of children. And I just went to my car and I stayed in my car.
Mm-hmm. So, and this is where all the process of building yourself actually started. So how, and today we're going to go directly to the topic that we're going to share today, 5 steps to overcome domestic violence. And in your opinion, Marie, what would be the first step that every single woman out there, regardless of the country you are, had to put in place in order to overcome this huge problem that society has? This is a global issue. This is not a local issue. It's a global issue. Has to do, I think, first of all, with the values that the children need to be raised. I think that one of the issues could be that if the children see domestic violence when they're growing up, right, they might think that this is okay, and that's why male have a huge responsibility in all this. The honestly, we don't find any explanation. But from the women point of view, what would be the first of the 5 steps that every woman should be doing to overcome domestic violence in your view?
Speak about it.
What do you mean by that?
Speak about it like I'm now.
Speaking with a friend, speaking with in public.
Public with a friend. Don't hide it. Don't be ashamed of what's happened to you or you're going through domestic violence. Speak about it. Speak. That's one of the things that overcome. Because when I was going through, I never told no one I was going through it. No one knew. But literally, if you speak about it afterwards, I spoke about it. I told people about it. I'm going through domestic violence. That's why I set up the organisation. To be quite fair, it was to empower other women to speak out.
That's what I always say, that sometimes the worst day in your life become the best days in your life, because you actually read that incident and said, this is exactly what I don't want anymore in my life, and then you shift completely and you start to source exactly what you really want in your life. Now, the speak out, I think that it's really, really important. Yeah. Not even for the people, but for yourself.
Yeah.
Because I think that the biggest damage is to keep it
inside. Yeah.
So, how was your life when you were keeping that inside you, that when you didn't want to talk about anyone? This is reflected in your job, it reflected in your relationship with your children, it reflecting with the relationship with friends, even with relationship with other dates. So how you behave when you have this locked inside you, and you were so ashamed that you didn't want to share it with anyone, so you got that pain and you suffer for you. So did it have any impact in your life?
Yeah, great impact in my life, because I was
just give us an example.
I was just walking around
like a zombie, right?
Not really a zombie, but I was walking around like just depressed. No, I was a very unhappy person. I was ashamed, and I was a very unhappy person, and
that brings depression, right?
Well, I'm sure I had depression and got over depression. I had it again, but literally, I was literally ashamed and embarrassed that I was going through domestic violence. I was ashamed and embarrassed because my children witnessed certain stuff as well. So I just think the best thing for anyone to do is speak about it, speak out.
So how you decide to speak about it? When do you decide that this is enough? I cannot keep this experience is destroying me. This experience is not making violence? The life of my children
after
better.
Domestic violence.
Yeah.
Oh, so basically,
What was the day that you decide to take this first step and to speak about it? What happened?
I just prayed.
Or you just wake up? You prayed. That's good.
I prayed and I asked God to help me, and He helped me. I mean, I'm got my faith, and I praise God for my faith. But that's what I did. I prayed about it, and I asked God to help me. Not everyone are Christians and that, and I get that. But I started to do like affirmations around my house, like you're more than a conqueror. In my kitchen, in my fridge, and when you pull out my underwear drawer, you will see you're beautiful and wonderfully made in my cupboard. I peeled out my cupboard and you see that. So I had all these affirmations all over my house, but only for me to see. So every time I felt low or felt I felt like having a bad day, I just used to go in my cupboard and love yourself.
And you have a message that reinforces.
Yeah, and I just kept on doing that, and I just kept doing it, and I just felt more and more
empowered.
I was ready
until you decide I'm gonna speak about it, right?
I'm gonna speak about it. Yeah, I'm gonna speak up.
Okay, so everyone, pay attention. Everybody, write this down, and this is how Marie overcome and actually execute the first step of the 5 steps to overcome domestic violence, right? So in order to talk about that. A process of empowerment goes within, right? Mm-hmm. That was my question. And some of you take 2 years, some of you will take 5 years, some of you will take 9 years, some with you will never. Right now, maybe you could be 20 years down the line and still you trying to break through this process. We are here to tell you that you don't need to wait 9 years, 10, 15. This is what you have to do, okay? If at the moment you are at home, you're a woman, you're at home, you're depressed, you experience domestic violence, and you haven't talked with anybody and you don't know what to do,
Speak out.
This is speak out. In order to speak out, you have to empower yourself. One way to empower yourself, what could be? You can write affirmations all over the house. I'm beautiful. I'm powerful. I deserve the best life. And I can help people. I'm worth it. Right. So write all these messages or these affirmations all over the house, or when you wake up in the morning, repeat this affirmation again and again and again and again, and that will go inside your unconscious mind, and will actually empower you for you to execute the first step. You need to speak about it with someone, not only with someone, but the more you talk about it, the more you will start this healing process that will get the direction for you to have a new life, right? The life that you really deserve. So, and here we have a very, very good example how you can turn all the situation around, right? So, Mari, in your view, after you're empowered, after you start to talk about with people, after you start this healing process, what would be the second step that every women should take in this process of the 5 steps to overcome domestic violence? What do you think that should be the second step that every woman can do?
It's not your fault. And stop blaming yourself. You know, one of the things that I used to do, it's my fault. I should have done it. Or should I have done it that way? Should I have done it this way? Should I have done it whatever way? But don't beat up yourself. It's not your fault. Stop blaming yourself. It's not your fault.
Yeah. Because I think that this is part of this process after you experience that, right? Very useful, because you are in this state of mind which is depressed and low self-esteem. It comes really easy that, well, maybe this is me. Maybe I'm not worthy. Yeah. Maybe it's all my fault. How stupid I am. How I let anyone manipulate me like that. I didn't see it coming.
Can I say, like, you know, domestic violence has no respect of person, colour or creed. So it can happen to anyone. So I just say, like, don't blame yourself. It's not your fault. And once you start forgiving yourself, then you'll feel much more better within yourself, because you've got to forgive. And if you can't forgive yourself, then it's going to be so hard for you to get on anywhere. And one of the things I had to, you know, stop. It's not your fault, but forgiveness is the key. Because once I forgave, I know it sounds crazy, but once I really, really forgave this person for what he done to me and my family, I was able to move on.
Exactly.
It's about moving on. It's about forgiveness. It's about not blaming yourself. Don't beat up yourself. Don't say, you know, don't have us cry. And you can cry because crying's good, but literally, it's just not your fault.
I agree 100%.
Believe that it's not your fault.
I agree 100%. Number one, it's not your fault, but number two, you have to let that go. And if you want to have a happy life, if you want to have a happy children, you want to have a happy marriage, you have to forgive. You have to forgive. You have to let that go. Because if you continue attached to that anger, this anger is gonna show up in your life in the future, and you don't want that for the people around you. It's definitely not their fault. They just made you after. So we cannot take what happened to us in the past and this anger and reflect it in the people that we made in the future, right? So we have to let that go. In order to let that go, there are two components of it. Number one, you have to don't blame yourself and don't beat off yourself, because it's not your fault. But on the other side is that one, regardless how painful it was, we have to, you could be meditation, could be going to a church, could be whatever works for you. But this sense of forgiveness is what is going to, and I will say, don't do it for them, do it for you. Do it for you, because at the end of the day, you don't know what's gonna happen with the other person. Always will be miserable for the life or whatever. But it's your journey, what you have, because everybody's responsible. The responsibility, and this is something that I want to ask you as well. Who's responsible for build themselves up? You. Yeah, it's your life. It's your responsibility to build yourself up, right? And that's why we're having this talk here. And we have two choices. We can be sad, blame ourselves, depressed, and have a sad life, right? Or we can do something about it. And we get support from people that already have experience, and already with people that are overcoming that.
There's a lot of support out there as well.
Exactly,
there's
right?
A lot of support out there.
So these are the components, right? So Marie, and then out of the 5 steps to overcome domestic violence, what would be the third step that people actually should do after experiencing this?
I just think you should start to love yourself again, and that was the thing that I never loved myself. And then because you're so in a relationship like domestic violence, you start to not like yourself or love yourself, or so you start to love yourself again. Start to.
What do you mean by that? Love yourself.
Love yourself. Be in love with yourself. Like yourself again. Don't.
Why? Because after you experience, because by experiencing that, you start to think that
you hate
yourself. You hate yourself. Really?
I can only say, from my opinion, I don't know how it is for other people, but I started to hate myself or dislike myself. I didn't want to go anywhere.
Why do you hate yourself? Because you were taking poor decisions. You let all that happen, right?
I let all that happen, and so you just start. It's not your fault. You start loving yourself. You love yourself by treating yourself, having nice things going out, maybe do exercising or read a book or something, but start loving yourself again, just start thinking, like, you know what, start being selfish, start thinking about you. It's all me,
exactly. So the people
so much of you away through the violence that you actually feel like, you know what, I'm going to just be selfish and start thinking about me and just start loving me and thinking I'm great. And as I said, the affirmations helped me a lot as well. So that's what really helped me. So just start loving yourself.
I think that this process to love yourself, right? I think that you need to start to do what you love, right? In your case, what do you like? You like to read books, right? So in your case, you like to read books.
Read books. You could, I don't know, you can read books, it's whatever you want to do.
Whatever you like.
Yeah, whatever you like.
So some of you, if you like to go and dance and that makes you happy, so this process to start to love yourself is just go out and dance more, right? If you like to read the book. If you like to go to a park, go to a park. But start to do often the things that you actually do to make you happy, to make you love yourself, that you haven't done before, because you have before this encounter, right? So basically, things that you love could be go to the park, meet friends, right? How many friends do you have there that they're very good friends, you love spend time with them, and you don't go and visit them, right? Because when you're depressed, when you're down, then you don't feel like anything, and you forgot that there is life out there. You forgot that people love you there.
I remember one time, I was watching TV, a lot of chat shows, and I'm not really a chat show person, but I started to just eat loads, and I was just in my house all the time. Then one day I suddenly thought, you know what, enough's enough, and I literally took my little baby to the park, and I got a book, and I started to read in the park, and then at 3:30 I knew I had to go and pick up my other 2 children from school, and I had to be in the park all day with my son if it's weather was permitting. And literally with him, he was playing at another 1 o'clock club, and I would be reading my book and just building up myself. Getting really inspirational books, started to build myself up, and then I weren't in the house anymore in those closed walls, just feeling upset. So it's all about starting to. And do you know what? It's a process. How do you
feel that day when you went to the park? And
it was hard because I had anxiety as well, so it's very hard. But I weren't gonna make this destroy my life. I weren't gonna.
Exactly.
I was a very strong person before I met this person, and I wanted to get back me again. And I thought the only way I can do that, and to be quite fair, it weren't fair on my children to see me like that. So I knew, I knew I had to change, and that's one of the things.
Even if you don't do it for yourself, do it for others. I think that so some people we do for people that they love, what they won't do for themselves. And I think that
And give yourself
you have
time as well.
you have
Time
your children, you have your role model for others, and you couldn't allow them to see you like that, because it won't be the good role model for them. So remember, everyone, step number 3 out of the 5 steps to overcome domestic violence is love yourself, and the process for that is start to reconnect with how were you before this incident happened, and go back to that roots. Just go and do what you love. If you like to dance, go and dance every single day. If you like to meet friends, go and meet friends. Whatever makes you happy, and do that more and more and more. And then this is something that will help you. Here we had Nida Saba. Nida, she was in your talk at the Universal Peace Federation. Somebody else also saying that you're so beautiful. Thank you so much. Nida, thank you for joining us. And it's a pleasure to have you here. Here we're discussing 5 steps to overcome domestic violence. And we're discussing this with Marie today, member of the British Empire. So Marie, what would be the step number 4 of the 5 steps how to overcome domestic violence? Look, Nida is saying that she loves you. We love you too, Nida. Nida, we love you too. So what would be the 4th step?
I think it's really good. I've got my 4th step is like 2 in 1. So find a good friend, and there's so many different self-help groups out there. And go to a lot of self-help groups and find a good friend, and make sure you find people with good energy. That's so important, because literally, you can go, it's like a scenario. You can have someone, a friend, but that friend might not be giving you positive energy. Yeah. So you need to go and find people that can give you positive energy. Energy. And, and there's loads of self-help groups that can help you. And so that's my 4th step, really. And just to have...
Let me share with that a little bit, because I think this point is critical, because sometimes we go there to find help out there. But sometimes, in my opinion, someone that haven't experienced something similar and haven't overcome, I don't think it's a right person to help, right?
No.
It's not the right starting point. Why? Because you will never understood, if you never experienced it yourself, you will never understood what are the root, what this person has been through. So it's important when you go out there and ask for help, find the right help, find the right so how they can do, how people can go and find the right help. Hi Valeria, thank you so much for joining us in the show. Valeria says thank you, fantastic show, great show. Thank you Valeria for joining us also. Yeah.
I think there's lots of places like counselling. You can go and get yourself counselling, which is really important. Give yourself time as well.
And how we find the right people? Shall we go to a police?
What if you escaping domestic violence?
Yeah. If you
if you're fleeing, it's like
so when we go there and ask for help, what is the first step? Then, in your opinion, what is the best support? Definitely, they can reach you out for sure.
There's so many...
You have your own organization, right?
Yeah, come to Storm.
Go to Storm. So can you please give details of your organization and how they can find it?
They can www.stormempowerment.com, or you can go on Marie Hanson MBE and on my Twitter and my Facebook pages.
That's something that you can do, right? If you don't have nowhere to go and you need support on that, then you can go to the website. But also in general terms, what else they can do?
There's so many groups out there, and this government here now has made domestic violence so, like before when I was going through it, there was no support for me. There was hardly any support. The police weren't really. No, because they didn't.
Wow, how long ago was that?
18, 19 years ago.
Wow. So do you think that you can have moved forward?
100%.
Really?
Yeah, because like before, I remember when I was going through domestic violence, and the police, my neighbours heard him, and she called the police, and I opened the door, and he was behind me, like he wanted to kill me, and he goes, if I say anything, you know, and I was saying to the police, like, he goes, do you need help? And I went, kind of saying, kind of my eyes.
Yeah.
And they just walked away, and I went, oh my God. But now
totally useless, yeah.
Yeah, but now the government's made so many jurisdictions and rules that even if you don't want to report it, it's just tough because they're going to get arrested. I think they actually brought a life sentence out as well now. Like, the police, and there's so many different agencies, there's so many organisations. There's so many different
but
things out there.
I think still more job need to be done.
It's always more,
not only UK, but all over the world.
All over the world.
Because there are countries that we hear dramatic
you have
horror stories. We heard in Africa, heard
West Indies,
Europe as well.
West Indies as well. So yeah, and please go on my website and sign the petition. Please, I've got a petition on there for us, the government, to give us housing for women, hotel rooms for.
Okay, everyone sign the petition, right? So how they can sign the petition? Where they need to go?
Just go on my website or go.
What's the name of the website?
www.stormempowerment.com. Sign the petition. On getting hotel rooms for women that are fleeing domestic violence. Because remember, I had to stay in my car for 3 days because refuge didn't have a room for me. And I think they say 75% of women, it could be more, don't quote me on that, go back to their abusive partners.
Because they don't have nowhere to go, right?
They have nowhere to go. And I've been, my organisation, and a lot of them have no recourse to public funds. So we have to think about that. I mean, that's another thing that's a government thing anyway. But
so everybody, just to share with you that go visit Marie's website and sign for the petition. And what she's putting in place is to petition to a government to please allocate housing, hotels, right? To hotel rooms for these women that have experienced domestic abuse. So that, number one, they have somewhere to go. So straight away. They don't need to go to sleep on the car or to sleep anywhere. They actually. I think is a basic right, and definitely government can afford this type of thing. So women have a space to go, to think, to empower themselves, and actually to start to build something new and get away from this poison relationship. Because otherwise, what we are forcing them without knowing is to open the door to go back to the same place and continue abuse more and more. So Nida said, put her name. Nida said, very good suggestion. I love you. This is my sister. Thank you, Nida. And then so this petition is really, really good. And yeah, definitely we're supporting that. And I think it's really good idea. It's part of the work you do. And it's fantastic. And what would be, Marie, the fifth step of this topic today? 5 steps to overcome domestic violence.
Walk away.
Walk away?
Walk away.
What do you mean by that?
Walk away from your abuser. Walk away by the mental abuse you probably had. Just walk away. You don't have to put up with it. You don't have to. There's so many people out there that can help. Walk away. Just walk away.
Walk away. Yeah. Let all that go. Yeah.
Yeah. Let it go, and you can move on. Just walk away and
move on.
And give yourself time. Give yourself time for relationships. Get to know you again. Get to love you again. Get to be you again. Get to be that person again. Because I'm telling you, I just think I'm fantastic. But 19 years ago, I'm telling you,
were so depressed.
I wouldn't even think I was fantastic. 19 years ago, I thought I was ugly. I didn't even know I was beautiful. To someone said I look like my daughter. Someone said to me, "Oh my God, your daughter looks like you." I go, "Are you sure?" My Gabrielle looks like me. My Gabrielle's beautiful. That's when I realised I was beautiful, because someone actually told me I look like my daughter, and I know my daughter's so beautiful. That's when I realised, 8-9 years ago. Remember, I've been broken by this man who told me I was ugly and I was worthless and I would be nothing. And do you know what? Hey ho, look where I am now. So walk away.
Yeah, and then we, as part of this walk away, is just by rebuilding yourself, but become, but rather that, and I think that what you have done is just go out and help people. So you build your organization, right? Where actually is giving support to women that have experienced this. Can you tell us a little bit more about your organization?
So basically, I'm literally my organization. I started off with 4 women, and I've got work over 3,000.
3,000. That's a lot of women. Yeah?
On my database.
Wow. So 3,000 women that have experience, and
yeah,
somehow
majority. Yeah.
Majority. Okay.
Or just being browbeaten, or just felt low.
Or being in the.
Some of them have gone through different. Most of them, I would say, anyway.
Wow.
So basically,
that's a large number.
I know.
Is it worldwide or only here in UK?
Mainly in
United Kingdom.
In United Kingdom.
Wow.
So
well, still a lot of job need to be done.
Yeah,
then.
I know. I do.
It's a large number, right?
I do a lot of courses for women. I do.
You do workshops.
I do workshops. We've got a wellbeing centre where we just do everything to do with wellbeing. So it's art therapy, dance therapy, counselling. Yeah, we do all that. I've got a nursery, so literally my nursery's mums, they're doing any courses at Storm or anything like that, or any, and they need somewhere to put their children. They can use my nursery free of charge and put their children in a nursery and get their education. So it's all about empowering, and just, and I always say, don't let your situation speak to you, and you're out of the dark and come into the light. So these affirmations, and they actually work for me. Sometimes I'm not Mrs. Wonder Woman, but at the end of the day, I do have my days where I thought I need an affirmation today.
Of course,
so
we are human beings,
I
right?
remember I put one in my kitchen. I think I put one in my kitchen the other day, and my daughter goes, "Oh, Mum, what's that? What does that mean?" I went, "Oh, never mind. It's for me. It's not for you." But don't beat yourself and be kind to yourself.
And then, as your journey, I heard that as a motivational speaker and your motivational speaking career, right? I want to ask you a question. Would you ever experience fear of public speaking, fear of stage fright, and if it's so, how you overcome it? Or so, what was your experience when one day you went to the stage, it was 50 people there, and you had to talk?
Oh, I can tell you that. Right. I've done my TED talk.
Wow.
Yeah, I've done a TED talk. So I was doing my TED talk. So crazy.
How many people was in your TED talk?
Maybe about 50 or 100 people.
100 people? 50, wow.
Yeah.
50
maybe more. I can't remember.
Okay.
But I was doing my TED talk, and I was reading that. Obviously, you had cards. You can't read.
Yeah.
So I was doing my TED talk, and I was so nervous.
Yeah.
And then basically what happened...
that was the first time you went to a stage?
Well, the really big, yeah. And then literally I was doing my TED talk, and then suddenly everyone was just staring at me, and I'm thinking, what? Why are they staring at me? Why are they staring at me? And I literally said, okay then. And I went, that's it. Ended it like, that's it. So when I finished, I said to them, everyone goes, oh, your talk was really good. And I said, oh.
That's why they were staring at you.
And your talk was really good. And I went, oh. I thought you didn't like it, because no, we were quiet. We were so engrossed in your story. And I thought, oh.
There was a magnetic story.
Yeah. And I thought, you didn't like it. So, yeah, that's my first one. But
what do you realize, like for example, about speaking on a stage, fear of public, as a motivational speaker, as a very charismatic speaker you are? I have the pleasure to see you speaking on the stage.
I'm
the Universal Peace Federation.
I'm all scared.
Yeah, fear never goes, right?
It never goes. But do you know what it is? Just be humble. Just be humble.
And speak from your heart, right?
Speak from your heart, because I always remember where you're coming from. And if I exalt myself higher than the knowledge of the God that I serve, then I ask God to draw back the curtains and take me back to where I was. So just keeping myself humble and remembering who I was and where I was coming from, and have an empathy for other people, be kind to other people, have empathy. That's so important for me.
Have empathy to other people, right?
Yeah, and their feelings, yeah.
There you go. Fear of public speaking or stage fright is so with you, it never goes away, right? So all we have to do to learn is to deal with that, because I think that our message is more powerful than the fear of public speaking, right? Yeah. And then what do you prefer to do more? Do you prefer to speak in public on the stage, or do you prefer to speak in front of the camera like you are today?
Speaking in front of the camera today.
Yeah, really? There you go.
And I like stage as well.
You like stage, but you're more comfortable in front of the camera, right?
I'm comfortable now.
Some people prefer camera, yes. Some people prefer live in front of the people in stage. I prefer the opposite. I prefer the stage. But a lot of people like the camera.
What's your audience like?
Exactly, and depending on the topic. Yeah. Exactly.
And the topic, and I like questioning and the answers as well. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Here you can interact directly. Yeah. This is something that when we are on stage, sometimes we cannot do it for time frame. But here people have the ability to write, to ask you questions, to participate, to encourage you, to support you. We see in our chat now a lot of flowers, a lot of hearts, a lot of love from everyone. And yes, this is the thing. So tell us more about as your motivational speaker career that is just starting, and the book that you're writing. So what is the big purpose that you have with this book? And when you go out to the stage, what is your main purpose? What is the one thing that you want the audience to take away from you, from your book, from when you do your talks?
To be empowered, to be quite fair, and
empowerment is everything, right?
Empowered, to be empowered, and if there's one
doesn't
woman,
matter which situation, yeah.
Well, if there's one woman that's going through domestic, or any women that are going through domestic violence and comes, which they have come through, I've done motivational talk before, and people have actually said acknowledged that I'm going through domestic violence, and I could help them out of that situation. So by helping people, this is my story. Like, you know. When it comes to telling my story, I relive every single thing what happened to me and my family. But I know that story needs to be told, right? Because other people need to be helped.
What do you do to don't break down in tears when you tell the story, right? It's because in order to convey this message properly as a motivational speaker, as a charismatic speaker, sometimes you feel that you are that you feel that you feel like to cry, and it's okay, right?
Sometimes I do.
If you cry on the stage, it's okay. A lot of people tell me, "What are you doing crying on the stage?"
I'm human.
It happened to me also.
I'm
in front of 2,000 people.
I'm human.
You know,
there's so much different things that happened. I'm human. So if I cry, I'm being real. I just want to be real with my audience.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's true. It's sometimes in order for you to do the story, you need to go back to that moment because you want the audience. One of our authors from our book program, right? She have a terrible story, right? And one day she came to me and told me, Harry, I cannot tell this story in the stage anymore because I feel that I'm breaking down in tears, and it's taking me back to the moment. We have a very powerful conversation because it's that story that we're saying today. Maybe you don't know. Out of this interview, someone could be in Zambia, someone could be in China, somebody could be anywhere and can be listening to this interview and can make a big impact in their life and change dramatically the view on all this topic. So I know that it's hard that to share this story. I know that you feel like you want to break in tears. Just remember that you asking yourself what this is happening to me. Why out of so many people I got that? Why me? And all that. And basically the way that you have worked on yourself, that's the other thing that I think we need to share to everyone, right? Is your responsibility to work on yourself, to build yourself up. No one is gonna do it for you. Is that correct? People could help you.
Yeah, people can help
people
you.
Can help you.
Yeah,
but
people can help you to work on yourself, but you have to work on your own self. You know,
and you need to start from you, right?
And even if you go,
this is how what it is, right?
Well, if you go to people and they can help you, make sure you go to, as I said, be around positive people, inspirational people. This will help you, and literally just be around people with good energy. Energy is so important, and and you can build and work on yourself. Love yourself. Just love yourself. That's what I can say. You've got to love yourself, and I know it's hard at times if you are going through circumstances. It is hard, but you are wonderful and beautifully made. Remember that, wonderful and beautiful made.
And we are all beautiful, yeah? So here you go, we go to the 5 steps to overcome domestic violence. And let's recap, everyone. Step number 1, what it was, speak about it, right?
Yeah.
Talk about and what this really means, that when you're there, you need to speak with friends, you need to speak with members of your family, you need to speak on a stage, and the more you speak, the better is for you. Don't do it for them, do it for you. Because speaking about this issue, it will raise your energy, it will start, and this is where the healing process will start, right?
Amen.
So step number 2, what is it?
It's not your fault. Don't blame yourself. Don't beat up yourself. Stop beating up yourself. It's not your fault. This can happen. Domestic violence has no respect of person, colour, or creed. It is not your fault.
Exactly. It's not your fault. Could happen to anyone. So just embrace it and
love yourself.
And love yourself. So step number 3.
Love yourself. Just love yourself. Know who you are. You're just beautifully and wonderfully made. As I keep on saying, I can't reiterate how much I mean that. And that you just love yourself. Love who you are. You're beautiful. You're such a beautiful person. Don't let no one take that away from you. Do not let anyone take away that. Don't just love yourself unconditionally, just like how God loves you.
And to go there and love yourself, what you need to do things that make you happy. So what make you happy? You want to go to a cinema that make you happy? Go 100 times to the cinema. You like to read books? Go and read the books. You like to meet friends, and this is what makes you happy. Meet all your friends again and again and again. Do this week, this month, this year, starting from today, things that you love every single day. Allocate the space for that, and that it will start to build your self-love process that will be key in order for you to overcome domestic violence. So what would be the 4th step?
I remember I had 2 in one. So
2, okay.
Find a good friend and self-help groups.
Self-help groups, right? So find the right support, yeah? It's no, I need help. Let me find the first person, a friend that I find in my Instagram or Facebook, and let's choose that my support person. You need to go to a qualified groups that specialize in this type of issues, because there you're gonna have the right support and the right help. These women, nobody gonna judge you, and these women are there, and these women already have been through this process, right? So that's why. And one example that where they can go is to your organization.
www.stormempowerment.com.
Very good.
And the phone number will be on the actual website as well.
The phone number is, so whoever, if you're trapped in this situation,
and if
you have nowhere to go, you can reach out.
Refuge as well. Refuge has got refuge. There's other organizations out there.
Yeah, I heard that there is also an app as well that people can get help. And then, what is the 5th step that out of the 5 steps to overcome domestic violence?
Walk away.
Walk away. Let that go, yeah?
Let it go.
Okay. And now the last question. You have been awarded as a member of the British Empire. Tell me a little bit more how this happened, Marie. How come I'm very happy today. You saw, I have a member of the British Empire in my house here in our studio. So you see, I have royalty with me. So tell us a little bit more how this process works. How do you find out about this? And we're very proud that you achieved this title. Yes, the title granted by the Queen, I believe, right?
Yes.
Wow, by the Queen of England. You know, I met her in the 70th anniversary of the Commonwealth. We were invited there as an education for our organization, speakers and leaders. Your voice can transform the world. So, for the leadership and the difference that our organization made all over the world, actually empowering people like you and promoting and creating framework people like you. I had the pleasure to be in that ceremony. So tell us your experience, how how does it happen? Tell us a little bit of
Right,
detail.
so-
When was it? Yeah. How do you feel?
Well,
Do you cry? What happened?
so basically, I had it in 2016, I do believe.
Wow.
Basically, someone had to nominate me, so someone nominated me. I was literally walking home from work. I was really tired and really had a long day, and had a phone call from the Home Office, and they left a message on my phone. And I thought, hold on a minute, why is the Home Office calling me? So I literally phoned them back. I thought, what have I done, you know? So I phoned up the Home Office, and I was coming home from work, and I was really tired. I was carrying my shopping bag home, and I was so tired. And then I spoke to this lady, lovely lady, and she said, oh, you know, I'm going to get an MBE. I went, oh my God, I was out there, and I started to jump up in the air. So everyone was looking at me thinking, oh, this woman's gone mad. And then she said to me, look, you know, don't go and tell anyone, because we're not going to announce it till January. So don't go and tell no one. So I said, no, I won't. So I ran all the way home and picked up my phone and phoned everybody. Phoned my children. I phoned everyone. I'm going to get an MBE. Don't tell no one. So I think about maybe 50 people knew.
So now tell us, how do you feel to be recognized by someone? Or how do you feel that, you know, at the end of the day, all this job that you have done, it have purpose, it have really helping people, and people actually acknowledge you and I empower you to keep doing so. So how do you feel?
I always say, from the pit to the palace. And basically, my MBE wasn't for me. It was for every woman that's going through domestic violence and every struggle they've gone through, and they've gone through. And if I can do it, I held that MBE is not mine, it's yours. Any woman that's going through domestic violence, you can make it. You can go through it. You can come out of it. From the pit to the palace. I was in my car, sleeping in my car, nowhere to go with my children, heavily pregnant, and look, I got an MBE.
From the pit to the palace.
From the pit to the palace.
Amazing. So thank you so much. Here we have today 5 steps to overcome domestic violence. And we have today Marie, member of the British Empire. So on my behalf and on the behalf of the speakers alias, we're very proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Keep doing the good job that you're doing. And let's keep helping women. I remember that without women there is no men. Simple simple as that, right? So women is the, you know, that I was raised by my mom is a single parent, right? My dad divorced my mom when I was really really small, right? So I got I can say the pleasure or the luck, right, that we was mainly with my mom, right? And so those values that were, since we were kids, they were enforced in me and my body really strong, you know, how we should treat women and how we should never ever even intent, not even verbally, to do that. And I get it. Sometimes people are angry, sometimes you're frustrated, sometimes things doesn't work at work and people take it to home and blame somebody else. You know, they feel the need that, okay, I have problems out there, and you know, I'm coming to my house and now I'm going to release all this stress. Someone that, you know, doesn't even have nothing to do, right? Sometimes, and I think it's a really tricky thing, because, you know, sometimes people say that because they love someone, right, then they're gonna bring all the problems and all the complaint and, you know, all that anger that you find out there, and reflecting at home, where the home should be the other way, should be the place of peace.
I think it takes a man to walk away.
Exactly,
you have to be a man to walk away. You know. Exactly.
It's a manhood, it's more man just to treat fair women, right? It doesn't make you more man hitting anyone, right? Family. Exactly. So this is important, and all the males listening this broadcast, also work on yourself, right? We got it that sometimes we're all human beings, we all make mistakes.
Walk away.
But if you are now in a state of mind, right, that when you go home you feel aggressive, you feel violence, you feel that you need to punch someone, right? You need to start to work on yourself, for the same way that women are working on themselves, right? You have to do the job. Where is this anger is coming from? what are you reflecting in someone else, right? And why when it comes with relationship, right? It's tricky. The other day, like I think 8 months ago, we met this author. His name is John Gray, right? Is the author of the book Men Are from Mars and Women
Are from Venus.
From Venus, right?
Yeah.
And we met him. He has sold 50 million books. He was talking with me and Lily and my partner, and he was telling me, Harry, trust me, I sold 50 millions in that topic. Yeah, women and men, we got different things out of the relationship, right? Women need to be safe and find the safety in some way. Men need recognition, right? So imagine that here in my house, I have 2 duties only, right? I actually do one, right? Which is I'm in charge of the rubbish, right? So I take the trash out. This is my job. I also buy the food. Yeah, I buy the food. That's my 2 things, okay? And my partner Lily deal with the rest, right? Which is, I think, quite a lot. This is how we do it at home, right? And every time that I do the rubbish, right? Every time that I come back, I tell to her, you saw, I did the rubbish. I'm expecting this. Wow, you're amazing. You're amazing. You did that, right? So man is usually looking for that recognition from women, even if they're doing nothing, right? We are like that, right? Where the women need to find this space of safety. Safety means that someone that treated well, with respect, that is actually committed to really build the family, respect, right? Yeah. Exactly. So we, as human beings, we want different things, and when it comes to relationship, if these 2 parts are not well balanced, the relation break, or the relation start to break, and that start to encourage this behavior. So the best way to overcome domestic violence, in my opinion, is actually be excellent in your relationship, not be good, excellent. The other day I was in a conference, right? I somebody came to me. I was speaking and it's finished, and somebody came to me and told me, Harry, my wife dumped me after 30 years. And I said, really? What happened? And he's telling me, I don't know. I always was very good with her. And I told him, that's why she dumped you, because you were good. You need to be fucking excellent. Sorry, my word. You need to be excellent in this stage to keep a relationship. Good is not gonna cut it. That's why she dumped you, right? So we have to be not good, excellent with women, and that this is how we are going to keep the relationship, right?
I just feel that a woman
in both sides,
both sides, but you're all queens and you deserve kings.
Exactly. There you go. That's it. All women are queens, and we're going to finalize like that. All women are queens, and they deserve kings. And this is the end of it. So thank you so much, Marie, one more time for the 5 steps to overcome domestic violence. And all of you following this broadcast from Facebook, the 250,000 people we got there and in YouTube. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your messages. And I see you next time in the next interview.